Our second award is for international dissemination of behavior analysis, the New England Center for Children, 20 years of international service delivery. Vincent Strully, worldwide known as Vini, which I have the honor to receive in Brazil many years ago, is the CEO and founder of the New England Center for Children, NECC, a center that makes all of us proud to be a behavior analyst. A center that, under his leadership, combines excellence in research and application, facing challenges to develop sustainable model of service delivered internationally. Also, NECC, under his leadership, developed, among many other things, the Autism Encyclopedia, an application that contains tools for teaching more than 1,900 skills. So Vini and NECC has received many awards, and it's an honor to Saba and ABAI to give this honor to him.
If you could have seen our humble beginnings, you would never ever in your wildest dreams have imagined that this is where we'd end up, and that we would be having the impact, both nationally and internationally, that we're currently having. The New England Center for Children opened its doors in 1975 on the grounds of the Taunton State Hospital with 6 residential students. At that time, autism was considered a low-incidence disability, with a prevalence rate as low as 1 in 10,000. There were very few services specifically for children with autism, and parents would drive up to our door to try to enroll their children on the spot.
I'd just been elected governor, and there was this group, I think of mostly young men, maybe all young men, who were at the Taunton State Hospital. And one of them was Vincent Strully. They had a kind of new idea about how to deal with kids with severe developmental disabilities, which has subsequently become kind of the dominant theme when it comes to dealing with what we now call autistic kids. And we gave them a grant.
Today, our flagship campus is located outside of Boston, serving children as young as 18 months through adulthood in home-based, day, and residential programs. Additionally, we operate 40 partner classrooms in public schools throughout New England. We're proud of our behavioral heritage and the prominent behavior analysts who influenced the development of our program over the years, beginning with Paul Touchette, who led us to Murray Sidman, Bill Doobie and the Eunice Kennedy Shriver Center, Gina Green, Richard Fox, Brian Awada, Myrna Libby, and many, many others. Hand in hand with our robust research program, we have established a professional development and graduate training model to educate and train the next generations of applied behavior analysts and special educators. We have formal affiliations with numerous colleges and universities around the world. In an effort to organize and disseminate the educational curriculum we have developed over the last 40 years, we created the ACE, the Autism Curriculum Encyclopedia application, an educational software package that enables educators and behavior analysts to assess, teach, and evaluate student progress using evidence-based practices. By the mid-1990s, the New England Center for Children had become a national leader in autism services. At that time, we had the opportunity to establish a private program for a young child with autism in the United Arab Emirates, and thus began our presence in the Gulf region. In 2007, we were invited by the Crown Prince to replicate in Abu Dhabi the full spectrum of services we provide in the United States. NECC Abu Dhabi currently serves 184 children, with plans to more than triple that number over the next 10 years. Today, our reach has expanded across the globe. We have operated ABA programs in 8 countries, from the United Kingdom to Kuwait. Working with the Autism Center for Excellence in New Delhi, we helped establish one of the first ABA schools for children with autism in India. Our consulting services have spanned 12 countries, providing ABA services to nearly 3,000 children. The ACE application has been used with nearly 8,000 children across 25 states and 13 countries. We have been invited to present our research around the world. Today, the New England Center for Children remains steadfastly committed to its mission to transform the lives of children with autism worldwide through education, research, and technology. Our goal is to help more children receive the effective education and treatment they need to be as independent as possible, and to ensure that wherever we go, we are creating services that will be sustained.
Thank you again, everyone. This recognition from our peers is a great honor. We're encountering three major problems I think that we all face when considering projects around the world. There is an overwhelming demand for ABA services from around the world. There is at the same time a massive shortage of qualified personnel to do the work. And funding is problematic and will continue to be problematic at home and abroad. The work that we do is expensive. EIBI and challenging clinical cases are particularly expensive, and funding is not easy to come by. When we try to develop sustainable services overseas, we begin by doing an assessment on a region to determine that it is a safe and secure place to work. We never go anywhere that I haven't been and don't feel comfortable. This also requires ongoing monitoring because things can change. We look at whether or not there are adequate resources to develop a sustainable service, a service that will live beyond us for children with autism. We need funding. A wealthy parent or private fundraising may be adequate to fund a project, but for one child on a short-term consultation may be doable, but not to fund sustainable services for many children. Ongoing government support is needed. We are also going to have to figure out a way to do the work less expensively. There are only a few developed parts of the world that can afford what our current models of treatment call for. We have to ask, can we do more with less money and personnel as we move forward so that the world can afford us? We've been working for a long time on trying to improve our model in the area of group instruction so that we can staff programs more economically for people in other parts of the world. In undeveloped parts of the world, it is very hard to start services. In places where people are barely surviving, just struggling to be fed and housed, autism is often the least of their worries. We need trained personnel. According to the BACB, as of this April, there are 22,000 BCBAs and about 2,000 BCBADs in the whole world. We need 10 or 20 times that number. In India alone, there are estimated to be 13 million individuals with autism and only 30 BCBAs in the entire country. Developing graduate programs sets the foundation for growth and a transfer of knowledge to local citizens. It is critical to have them in order to sustain the transfer of knowledge over time so that local staff can ultimately run their own programs. We need a strategic plan. Once we determine the safety of the area and that financial and personnel resources are adequate, we then develop a 5 to 10-year strategic plan that directs us. We need to start small. Start with a pilot. Pilots enable us to gain valuable information. Logistics are often the hardest part of any overseas project, but a pilot project allows you to get to know a place and a culture. We always need to learn the government bureaucracy and the funding mechanisms. It's the same everywhere. We need to be prepared to deal with a different culture. In Abu Dhabi, for example, there is a national religion. Religion is infused in every aspect of education and life, and hence we teach the students when to pray and how to pray. We need to learn to incorporate the religion into our programming, as it is very important to the parents and the government, and indeed in Abu Dhabi it's a contractual obligation. While culture is an issue for sure, we've been able to work in very conservative regions of the world successfully. Educational medicine is educational medicine. It works wherever you go. And when parents see the results, they flock to our science. Sustaining a project is really hard, and we cannot predict all of the forces at play. We all have big dreams and would love to establish large and effective services everywhere, but we need to make sure that it's going to work and sustain itself. It doesn't help anyone when services start and disappear. It only breaks people's hearts and dashes their hopes. Every good plan needs an exit strategy. We want to make sure we leave behind a sustainable program with funding, graduate programs, and qualified local personnel in place. This was never intended to be a permanent colonial occupation. It's a temporary consultation. Today, I can only briefly outline considerations for development of these projects. We'll present details in much greater detail at the Paris ABAI conference in November. In addition, we present in great detail on how to organize service delivery issues at the Council of Autism Service Providers Conference every year in Las Vegas in January, a great new organization that we're proud to be co-founders of. I want to express finally my gratitude to all of our staff, past and present, for their amazing dedication and hard work. They've stayed with us a long time. And to all of you, researchers, practitioners, teachers, the power of your work, our science, is so great that in just one generation, we have taken NECC from an empty building on the grounds of an obscure state hospital to helping thousands of children around the world. We can do so much more, and not just for children with autism, but as a field, we can do more for everyone, everywhere. Again, thank you for this honor. We all appreciate it. Thank you.